Good morning, guys. We are live. We have the same scene, same environment, but a different face. We have Mr. Johnson
That's
in the
right.
house this morning.
Abby's off saving the world, so I got to fill in.
Literally. Doug and I always joke about it, but it's so true. I mean, Doug is Abby's husband, and your wife is just literally always off in different parts of the country.
Yeah, yeah. She this is a height of travel season, so I'm not going to see her till Thanksgiving. I don't think where it is right now.
It's so crazy. Abby's schedule. I think just like in 1 week alone, she was doing 5 different states or
Right,
something like that.
right. Yeah, she comes home to repack.
Hey, honey,
Yeah,
we missed you.
hug the kids a little bit, repack, and then get back out on the road again. But we work hard and play hard. Like we had a lot of good family time over the summer and
Right,
Christmas. A lot of people don't get that. You know what I mean? We just shove all the work into one little space, and then we play for the rest of the year. So it's
right.
good.
And I
Yeah.
mean, that's the way to do it. And you two, you have such a good marriage. You have such a good family unit that you guys are just able to delegate it, compartmentalize,
Hmm.
do your stuff, make massive waves and impacts, and just get it done. But it's
Right.
hard because it's hard in both aspects. It's hard work, in draining what Abby's doing. It's hard work in draining what you're doing. It's funny because so you're a stay-at-home dad of 8. I
Hmm.
I have 5, and I always feel like most people I come in contact with, it's like, they might have 2 kids or 3 kids. So it's like, yeah, I've got 5. And they're like, wow.
Yeah.
And then when I met Abby, she's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I've got 8. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, so like I don't always have them all with me, and people are
Right.
like, oh my! Like the other day, I went to a place called At Home to buy Halloween stuff, and I had 6 with me. And this lady that worked there came. She's like, "Are these all yours?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am. That's not even all of them. I got 2." She's like, "No, get out of here!" And she was so impressed. Just thought it was so cool to see a big family. She called her best friend, also worked there. It was back in the warehouse, and she called her up front just to look at our family.
And the best part, they're not all here. They're still at home.
Yeah, sure. I had to explain the ages and who's a twin and like all that kind of stuff. I get a kick out of it. I'm always happy to do it. I'll show off my family anytime. But it was a lot of fun. It was a fun little moment, and they all came up and said hi to her, like she was their new best friend, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, and you know what's probably even like greater, and I'm not trying to be sexist and, with the roles and stuff, but there's something, and I'm sure people give you more credit when you have the kids all by yourself because
Oh,
there's that stigma attached
yeah.
that, like, oh, the dad's doing the mom a favor. Oh, the
That
dad,
irritates the crap out of me, as if it's not both of our job to do all the things.
right,
When did
right.
going to the grocery store? How many single men? What did they do before they got married? They couldn't go to the grocery store, so now all of a sudden they're married. They're not supposed to go to the grocery store anymore. Like, every time I go to the grocery store, it's like, oh, mom gets the day off and daddy gets to turn with the kids. I'm like, no, lady, this is my job. Like, I have to feed my kids. Come on now, you know.
And I love that. And I love that, like, because I feel like you're in the minority, Doug. I feel like you're in the minority because so many dads, no matter what households, but let's talk about, where the parents are married. So many there's that just the thing that it's supposed to be the mom doing it and the woman, and oh, you want me to take the kids tonight? It's like, no, it's like they're your children too. If they're 50% of your responsibility, you're not doing Abby a favor by taking care of the kids. So, and I love that. And you've
I'm
never,
not a babysitter. They're
yeah,
my kids. Yeah.
yes. There was something, and I'm trying to think of it, and I would mess it up, but someone had went viral. She created this letter board, and she had her husband beside her, and she was like holding a crying baby. And it was something to the effect that, the husband stayed up all night with the baby. And she was like, and I didn't need to thank him for that. It was like something around that line. It's like, that's
Yeah.
his job too.
Right.
Like,
And
why,
I'm sure he was happy to do it.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Like,
know? And
we're
so,
not these horrible people.
and it's like, and what we talk about at one of our bloggers, um, Ajalon Stapley wrote this amazing piece the other day. Like, where have all the manly men gone? Where have all the manly men gone? And what I love it is, like, you're the epitome of the rugged. There's our girl! Yay! We were just
babysitting our kid right now while I do this.
Oh, see, role reversal. Abby's babysitting Fulton now.
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh my gosh. But she wrote this amazing piece on where have all the manly men gone. And what I love about it is you are both those worlds. You're the rugged, fierce, like you're as manly as they get, you know. But, and you know, and seriously, and you're just the dad that's just doing it too, that doesn't accept.
I didn't grow up in a house where there was like, okay, these are mom's chores and these are dad's chores. It was always overlap. Like, yeah, my dad showed me how to mow the grass and how to change tires and change oil and hunt and sharpen my knife and all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't mean my mom wasn't there doing it too. And my mom showed me how to fold laundry and do dishes. But there were times when my dad was standing there next to me doing it too. Like, there was never a, hey, this is woman's work, this is man's work, and the two should never mix. It was always, this is family work. We're a family. This is what the family has to do. You know, like we're all in this together. And I don't know, that's always made more sense to me. So, and I think I've always been attracted to women who get that, who are never like, well, I'm supposed to cook and clean. Like, I love to cook. And most men I know love to cook. You know, a lot of families I know, the man is the cook. And so I'll, like, it's not like the Barones, you know, on everybody loves Raymond.
Yes, we love that.
Hitting on the food, make me a sandwich, you know, like that's.
Well, and it's so funny. Like, Terry's the cook in our family. I'm not. I love to eat. I love to partake in it, but I don't pretend. You know, sometimes I felt bad because I'm the woman and I should be the one to do that. But it's not the case. Like God did not bless me with those talents. And people are like, Regan, can't you just follow directions on the recipe? Like, guys, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work. Like the other night, I literally, and just someone really quick, Lori said she loves my shirt. This is Abby and I's. This is from our store, The Real Deal of Parenting. They are all mine. I think Abby has the shirt too. So everyone has to get yourself one. So the other night I was trying to make, literally, which I don't even like, but the kids like it. What's the box stuff, Doug, where the noodles and you put in hamburger helper.
Yeah.
Hamburger helper. Who can mess up hamburger helper? Oh, I did. Because so I was making a couple boxes of it, you know, to feed 19 people. You've got to get multiple boxes. And I was like, man, this does not look like enough pasta. So after Kendall's like, Mom, this isn't going to work. Like, after the noodles were almost already boiled, I took some extra noodles of ours, throwing it in. Then half the noodles were cooked, half were. Then the consistency to the sauce was not correct. And the kids are like, Mom, I don't think you did it right. I'm like, I didn't. Mommy didn't. But you know what? We're going to eat this.
Yeah.
Because there's people starving.
Options.
So, like, I mess up and it's like, I don't even do it. It's like people think, oh, you probably play it up as a thing. I don't play it up as a thing, guys. I'm not a good cook. I can't do it.
See, Abby is a very good cook. She just hates to do it. Really hates cooking. So I'm like, I like to do it. So we're fine.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know you guys use like your smoker and your grill a lot. Like, Terry will do our grill, but I wish I could grill. I love grilled foods, but I'm like, I'll blow the house up. I don't know the buttons.
Yeah, Sarah.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll blow the house up. I can't do it.
But, it can be dangerous.
But I love it. And I love how your guys' family works. And I love that you don't complain about it. And I even know sometimes I complain about it. You know, I was talking to my priest about it and I'm like, and I think we're all human. We're all guilty. You know, as parents, we all have stressful days. And sometimes I have to check myself on it because I'm like, I'm here with my children. This is my job. And you
Yeah.
said something the other night to me, Doug, and I made it into a meme. It was so beautiful.
Okay.
You were saying how you had had a hard day, especially with one of the twins, with
Mm-hmm.
Ben having a hard night. You were like, it was a stressful night of parenting.
Yeah.
And and you weren't complaining, you were just telling me about the stressful night, which I was laughing. Like Doug was telling me this with like a poker straight face, like, and I was like, I had tears coming down laughing.
Oh, sorry.
What's that?
My dog is
But how you ended it, and it wasn't like cliche. He was just so matter of fact. But Doug said, you know what? I'd rather have 100 more of these stressful nights than one night away from my kids or not being with them. And I'm like, wow, that's like such great perspective. Like, I love that.
Well, I try to find everything in humor as much as I can. Like every crazy story, it can become a funny story. And I think when you share those stories, like that, they're like, yeah, in the moment, my head was about to explode, and I was just frustrated as all get out. And I got that was the same day I got hit in the face. I got caned in the face by a 2-year-old. Can you admit
it?
Live. So, but I think when you share these stories, other parents can relate, and they don't feel like they have to be perfect all the time. They're like, they can take a deep breath and be like, oh, okay, so I'm not the only one that can't get his 4-year-old to sit down and eat a waffle, because now we have the big waffle story. And so, and I, like the other day, I'm on a parenting page, Catholic stay-at-home parents, and it's moms and dads. It's almost equal, stay-at-home dads and moms on this page. It was pretty impressive. And this woman was like just so distraught and beating herself up because she used a screen to calm her baby down to take a nap so she could take a nap. And she's like, please tell me I didn't ruin my baby. And like, I hired a sleeping expert to help us out. I just couldn't take it anymore. And I fixed the screen on the swing so my kid would just be quiet for a minute so I could have a break. And I'm like, and she thought she ruined her baby. Like she looked at her, she was distraught and very like, oh my gosh. And I'm like,
what did I do?
Yeah, and I like I said, it was like you were being unbelievably hard on yourself. And whoever made you think what you did was wrong is evil. That person has no business talking to other parents because you should not feel bad about that. I'm not saying do it all the time, use it as a crutch, but you can't tell me that if like Betsy Lou Sue from 1872 churning butter, if you told her one day you could set this screen in front of your child and get all your chores done a little faster, she'd do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? We do these things because you just want to survive and get through the day. And like, you can't rely on it and use it as a crutch all the time. But come on, man. Like, give yourself a break.
Yes.
And
it's so true. Like, we have to give ourselves grace. And I think that comes with each child. And I'm sure you and Abby feel this way because it simply becomes survival mode, right? Like, I know how differently we were with our first. Like, even it was like, you just learn, it's just trial and error. Like, we did not make a sound bringing Kendall home. Like, shh, like when she was going to nap and sleep, it was like, it had to be complete silence. And then she would wake up with like any little pin drop. She was a terrible sleeper. Yeah. And then when we brought our second home, it's like bang the pots and pans, have the TV up loud. And Kaden was our best sleeper. Do you know what I mean? So you just like, you learn. And then it's also like the funny thing, because this is so true. Like you see, like with your kids with the pacifier, like even dirt and germs, you just worry less. Like with Kendall, if her pacifier would have fallen out, it's like, oh my God, put it in a bag. I need to take it home. I need to boil it. I need to sterilize.
Yeah.
With Hayden, it was like, okay, where's a water bottle?
Oh, yes, it was first kid, second kid, third kid. You're like,
right. Super confident. The second one, it's like, give me a bottle of water, of clean water, let me rinse it off. And then the third one, I'm like, in my mouth, rinse it off, put it in the baby's mouth. Fourth one is
because our 2-year-old, he's our 8th, right? I have 8 kids. Our youngest went outside with a bag of the pretzel goldfish, eating it up, and he looked at it, and then he just dumped it on the floor and sat down and ate it out of the driveway, like outside. That's how he likes it.
It literally, when Abby was here with us, And like people need, and I'm sure people get this about Abby just by like anyone who has like met her in person or just seeing her speak. Abby's just so laid back.
Mm-hmm.
Like Abby's just very like calm and chill and just so laid back. You know, it takes a lot to just rile her up. And of course, I'm like the opposite. I'm just like so intense and and so
Hearing that about you, Regan.
right. And so like when we were out to dinner, like the kids are like touching germs and all this stuff. And Abby's like, Regan, it's like okay. And she was like saying, one of your kids with like the best immune systems, is it Alex? She's like, Alex would like eat gum from like underneath, like
harder, yeah.
You know? Yep. And she's like, you know, it's okay. They're gonna be okay.
It's so gross, but it's like
and you do. It's like I'm more weird with germs, but dirt, like the thing with Fulton pouring the like crackers out in the driveway, that like dirt I'm okay with. It's like, yeah, eat it out of the grass, eat it off the driveway. It's okay.
How like look, build immunity, go lick the public bathroom stall so you can build your immunity. So do
that. Oh my God. Public bathrooms with kids. And my kid, like my fourth is obsessed with public restrooms. Every time we go somewhere, I beg her, Kelsey, go pee. Please go pee. I did, Mom. I'm like, go again. And she'll even go again most of the time. And then we go somewhere. Oh, I've got to pee. She doesn't have to pee. She just wants to go in the public restroom. And it has nothing to do with this pandemic. It has nothing like public bathrooms skis me out.
Yeah.
I'd rather go pull a car door open and pee by the car. Literally, with people, I like personally, I'd rather go pee by the car or pee by a tree and go in the public.
I let my kids do that. We're in a parking lot and the store's all over there. Like, Dad, I gotta pee. I'm like, yeah, we're not going in. You're peeing right there.
Pull, like the parent trick, like pull two doors open side by side, put the kid over in the middle.
Time to wash the tires on the car. Like we're not going back in there.
Follow Doug and I for more parenting.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
People are either going to be like, yeah, so relatable, or they're going to be like, yeah, those, what are they doing?
These guys belong like in some sort of parenting classes. I was like, no, I'll be teaching it by the time it's over.
Oh my gosh. That is so funny, but it's so true.
Yeah.
But so, you know, I wanted to, and I love your page, Doug's page. Doug has a really good following. He runs his own page. It's called Doug on Tap. And Doug and Abby, they have very similar personalities. What I love about you guys, hey Kels, what I love about you guys, you're just, you're very blunt. You're very straightforward. You don't sugarcoat things. You're hilarious with stuff, but you're very, this is what it is. And so I'm not going to make it cute and pretty. I'm just going to tell you. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate that now in these times more than ever. So on your page, you know, you share a lot of parenting family stuff, but you share a lot of, you know, political, I don't even want to call it, just what's happening, you know, and this is what it is.
Yeah. I like to make just common sense, basic observations. I feel like people have forgotten how to do that now. And they like, just look at what's in front of you and make a common sense judgment call on this and stop listening to the talking heads that are getting paid to do this. Like, and it's all about ratings for them. And it's not about like what's in your best interest. And people are like, I love this thing now. Like, parents need to be telling the schools how to teach our kids, not the government. Like, parents need to be telling the schools, this is how we want our kids taught and what they want. We do and don't want them to be taught in schools. You have no business talking to them about like trans and gay or any sex at all. It's like, why is this coming up here? Why is it in a kindergarten class? ABCs, colors, you know, rainbows, simple stuff, not the rainbow gay pride flag. Like, why is that?
And how to pleasure yourself.
Yeah.
Like what's here's the thing, you know, and people like you and I and Abby, you know, have been called conspiracy theorists, but now I joke, and I told Doug and Abby, I'm like, we need a t-shirt that says conspiracy theorists turn prophet. Everything we've all been saying for 18 months keeps check, true, check,
Yeah.
that's come true, check, that's happening right now.
Right.
And so, and it's so true. And like, here's the thing, this like the indoctrination that's happening with our children, like from as soon as they're stepping into the door, it's not one of those, it's happening, it's factual, you're seeing it happen all around the country. And it's just, is Doug and I are both former teachers.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing happen everywhere, but more so in public schools, you know, Doug and Abby have their children in private Catholic school. I pulled all of my children for the exception of one due to a particular reason. Caden in middle school, there's certain reasons and he really wants to be there. And however, if there's ever certain mandates, he'd be out in a heartbeat. And my kids are doing private online, but it's like, it's a time to really make sure you know what's happening at the schools, because we know when your kids come home from school, it's like, oh, how was your day? Oh, fine. What'd you do? Oh, nothing. What'd you learn? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. You know, like that's your basic kid.
I mean, my daughter came home and told me about how horrible her day was because somebody challenged her to a dance fight. A dance fight. Oh
Dad, do you even know?
He's all like, yeah. And I was like, ew. And oh, okay. 14-year-old brain, 40-year-old, 3-year-old brain. This is anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's like, okay, honey, what's a dance fight and what did you have to do? And then what happened next?
What was the song? Was it Britney? Was it Usher? I don't know. Like, what's cool these days? I don't even know what kids are listening to.
Right. Right. Well, and so it's, you know, you really like you have to dig and you have to be aware. And it was projected before school even started, it was projected that by the end of the school year, by the end of 2022, that 1 million students would be pulled from public school. And here we are, the very beginning of the year, September 2021, just under 1.5 million children have already been pulled from public schools.
Well, and in California, I think they're expecting that number just in California alone here pretty soon.
Oh, and poor California. My heart breaks. Like, and like you said, Doug, it's what's happening all over in schools, in healthcare, in all job places with 100 employees or more. It's like a true travesty. And all you have to do is open your eyes. Like you said, just be smart and make basic observations. Right. You don't even have to be a true scientist and dig far. Just use your brain and make a basic observation. We shared yesterday on The Real Deal of Parenting, Rihanna came out, speaking of pop stars and singing, she came out making, with a shirt, making a political statement, something like, use what was it? Use logical sense, think before it becomes illegal.
Yeah. Something along those lines. And I was like, wow, this is great. Like people are finally like opening up their eyes a little bit and seeing what is going on, you know? What was the other girl? It's not Cardi B.
It's, I know it's like her. It's not Cardi. It's.
Yeah, she got like, she said something about her cousin having issues with the shot. I'm not going to call it a vaccine because it's not a vaccine.
Right. And
she got like, no, you're a liar. That didn't happen. She's like, okay, we're going to see where this goes. So she took him on.
Nicki Minaj. Thank you, Rick.
That's right.
Yeah. And you know what's fascinating about that story and all the backlash she's getting? And then she was, you know, because she's supposed to be a Democrat, like a liberal. Mm-hmm. And then she was, did she talk with Tucker Carlson or something?
Tucker and a couple others. Well, that's what's happening. What's funny to me is all these conservative talking, like, I don't blame them. They're snatching them up. Like, yep, come on over here and tell your story. If they won't let you tell your story, we will. We'll give you the platform to do it, you know?
Right. And that's just the thing. And everyone's sick of the political divide, right? Everyone's like, why does politics have to be involved? Well, it just is. But here is the beautiful thing that we are seeing. We're seeing some of the left that are just getting sick of not having a voice, of being censored, of being canceled. No, hush, you're not supposed to talk about that. You're not supposed to ask questions. You're not supposed to share that.
Yeah.
that individual testimony that's 100% true. It's like they're like, you know what? This is BS.
Yeah.
They're seeing it. And
I think the last line of defense is actually going to be comedians, especially these comedians on the left, like the Bill Maher's, Russell Brand. Even right now is like
yes, I like
very liberal, still very left, but whoa, like we
he's
can't
dropping
deny these things. Yeah.
yes, and that is what's beautiful. And here's the thing: I don't care what side you're on. Here, I want the truth to be able to be spoken.
Mhm.
And all you and Abby and I always say and advocate for, especially in regards to people's health at this point and medical freedom and making informed decisions, is simply all these doctors who are being fired, all these doctors who are getting death threats, all these world renowned medical experts who are getting hate mail, putting their life on the line, putting their family's life on the line because they want to be able to go to sleep at night. They're like, I'm going to have to answer to God someday for my actions and staying a part of this, who've left their jobs. What if they're wrong? Okay. If they're wrong, bring them on the nightly news, bring them on CNN, bring them on Fox News, question them, make a fool of them, and put it to rest. Literally.
Right.
But they won't give them a voice. They won't give them a platform. And that's what should alarm everybody.
Yeah. Just the silencing alone it's disgusting and evil, and it has to stop. And we're seeing, I know Trump hired a lot of people in his administration. Oh yeah, the firings are out of control, but it was over loyalty. Whereas with like Biden, it's over disagreeing with him, saying something even a little bit out of line with what he wants to do. Like if you even step just one toenail out of line, you're done. Like he fires people, like removing everyone. What was it, the singer? They took off the arts board, or
yes, with what was it, with the national anthem or God Bless the USA?
Proud to be an American, whatever.
Proud to be an American, yeah.
And like, who cares? He's basically just trying to be like, you guys are too patriotic. We can't have that. We can't have all this patriotism. And this song promotes patriotism. So it's gone. It's canceled.
Lee, Brittany, we need to bring Brittany on the show. Lee Greenwood. Brittany.
Yeah, that's it. Lee Greenwood. And I was like, I'm kidding you with this. I mean, this song gets people through sometimes. This guy is a hero to so many.
Right.
And to just be like, it's too patriotic. We got to get rid of it.
I say this every day, and I'm always like sending you and Abby messages. I'm like, guys, I can't. I just can't. We need a shirt that says I just can't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's just scary. And when we're talking about, somebody like a dictatorship and the return of communism, and all these things are happening right before our eyes. And it's, yesterday at church, I thanked God. I'm like, Lord, I'm so blessed that you've given me a clear vision and you've lifted this veil for me. I'm so blessed that I've been able to see this all along. But with that comes, right, Doug, like such a heaviness. Like we've become impatient that some other people aren't seeing yet. More are starting to see, which is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But there's such a heaviness of like, how is there not like a red alarm going off for everybody right now?
Yeah.
And we're seeing, like I saw this pastor being arrested yesterday in Canada. This man, and he didn't resist. He got on his knees and put his hand for having his church opened.
Right.
And this is Canada. We're not talking a third world country. We're not talking the poor souls that the Taliban has overtaken. And if we're talking Canada, our neighbor.
Right.
And it's unthinkable to me.
People see that as safety, not as oppression or just a crime, and that's how it should be seen. Like, this is over. And how are they finding the cops to carry this out? And I guess a lot of cops are quitting. They're like, I can't do this. I'm not doing this for you.
We're seeing a lot of cops stand up because, again, when we're calling on people, if it's about science and if it's about health and safety, there are things not lining up. Nothing is lining up or consistent.
No, not at all.
Like again, like questioning, this is, Doug, no one has answered this yet. So I call on the Biden supporters who are watching this on the left, I call on anyone to answer this for me. I don't know if you've heard the answer yet. So if Biden truly wants to protect us, and if he is smart in his health administration, and if it is about our safety, and we have these mandates where people are losing their jobs, all of these people crossing our border, that they do not also have to abide by these same regulations, these same mandates. Tens of thousands, people infiltrating everywhere. And I'm not being a smart aleck. I'm actually, I'd love an answer.
Yeah.
Why though? How does that not go against our regulations?
Well, here in Texas, we keep getting told, "Oh, our COVID numbers are so bad," and I'm like, "Yeah." Because we're a flood of people, and no, it's not. They don't just have COVID, folks. They got all kinds of stuff they're bringing in that hasn't been treated on their side. What I want to know is, why aren't we trying to help these countries keep their citizens? Why aren't we making it so these places are a place that's safe to live? I don't know. Like that's, I guess, the compassionate Catholic in me is like, if we're supposed to love thy neighbor and help thy neighbor, like, so country to country, why aren't we, like, instead of just letting them all in and like potentially destroy our country, then if our country like falls, who's supposed to help them? And then we all just stick together, like
right.
them. So.
And again, yes, as a Christian, and in my motherly heart, like, my gosh, I hate to see any person suffer, no matter where they're from, how old they are. Of course, I am much more to see any baby or child of any age. Like, my gosh, if I could help them all, I would do it.
Right.
But there has to be, there has to be some lines drawn. There has to be a better way. And I just
work, right. The point of missionary work is not to go in these countries and then bring them back. It's to go over there and improve it and like help them do the work so that they have clean water and food and things they need to survive and thrive. And the other thing is, you got to stop telling people that poverty equals misery. Like, that these people are all unhappy, and we can. Are they suffering? Yeah, probably. And do they need more medicine and that sort of thing? Yeah, probably. But do they not smile and laugh and enjoy being with their families? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Abby and I there was a time when we first got married, and our biggest expense was overdraft fees at the bank. That was our biggest bill, So it's not like, and then they're living way more impoverished than that. So I don't know, but we were never unhappy. We just worked towards something else, and they don't. I don't know. I'm rambling here, but
no, but it's true. It's absolutely true.
And big picture stuff here, we're just like, well, just let them in, and then the people that don't want to let them in, call them meanie heads, and make sure they're the bad guys, even though we're just gonna like do this unregulated, no control, completely wild, like. And then as soon as somebody rides a horse behind a guy and a whip kind of comes out here, or not a whip, or a rein, it's not a whip.
Right.
And then everybody knows that we know that they know, and everybody, like, they know that we know that they know that we know they're lying, but they're like going to just keep on lying. Will not walk back that story,
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a crazy time to be alive. And what I want to do, like, I saw El Salvador, what their leader was doing. Did you see like the little packets, or it's like they're almost like cardboard lunch boxes or bags that they were giving people with ivermectin and vitamins and everything that they would need if they get sick, or preventative measures. And I'm like, oh wow, imagine that. Imagine doing that for your people.
Yeah. But the elites, I think, they look down on those countries with such disgust that nothing they do could be right. Like, there's no intelligence there because, they can't get their country together. And same thing. I think that's how they look at the poor here. They act like they're trying to help the poor, and they act like they're trying to help all these groups. They're really just standing on them and virtue signaling, like, while they stand on their neck. and they're not trying to help anyone. So, and I honestly, I think I posted one time, I was like, with Trump in, at least I felt free to 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 achieve the American dream, to do whatever I wanted to do, to
Right.
get what. And then now it's like, no, it's like
Right.
I'm allowed to achieve whatever they tell me I can achieve. And that's really.
I don't know if it was Joe Rogan or someone who was just, which this is just a basic thought, but again, the more freedoms you keep taking away from people and telling them, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that, the more they're going to rebel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like here, and here's the thing, Abby and I often share when we talk about these pressing issues, these unprecedented issues. How does this affect family? How does this affect children? How is this about parenting? It's everything to do with the family and parenting and our children's future. Because if we don't figure this stuff out real quick, this is, well, first of all, this is already affecting our children.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just handle it with more grace and feel, well, let's just comply. Just throw it on their face. Just do this. It's easier. We're not going to fight. It's just easier. That's all I hear. It's just easier, well, to comply. This burden is going to be so much bigger and so much heavier upon our children's shoulders that they're going to be carrying and trying to figure out and deal with. So
every one of these little things, little tiny things, we're gonna build a big old wall with those bricks, like Pink Floyd song, one more on the wall, right?
Right.
And it's like, just comply with the mask, just comply with the shots, just comply here. No voter IDs is bad. We'll just keep taking away like integrity and freedom and all these kind of things, and then we're just going to see this wall building up until we're completely not free to do anything. And we just have it. These things happen a little bit at a time. I compare it to how do we get with all this promiscuity and the breakdown of the family and all that. I'm like, well, look at Playboy. It started out as like tasteful nudes, right? Everybody looks back at, oh, it's tasteful. It wasn't. Well, then it kind of progressed into hardcore pornography, and then we have human trafficking and the sex trade industry. It's a $1 billion industry. Did you know, like, movies? We have Blu-ray because the porn industry went with Blu-ray. Like Hollywood and all that, the movie industry, they step back. They wait for pornography to see what sells for them, and then they pick that because pornography pulls in so much money. And so we wonder how we got there with a little bit of time. We're like, it's just a topless photo, just a little side boob.
It's just moving a lot. Yep, it's so true.
And so a little bit at a time. Then here we are. The Super Bowl is the biggest sex trafficking day of the year, and nobody cares. Nobody says, Pete, just no big deal. We just want to watch a football game. It's easier that way. And so
right. It's people, they don't. When we had on Tim Ballard, one of the biggest human trafficking advocates in the globe he's like, it's difficult to talk about. It's difficult to think about. Most people don't want to do it, but he's like, until people are so physically ill to know what's happening, no one's going to do anything about it. Because again, it's like, well, as long as it's not one of my kids.
Right.
Same thing with abortion. Well, I wouldn't do it, but what you do over there, that's your thing. Everyone, it's just like, as long as it's not one of mine, as long as it's not in my house, what someone does over there, that's their thing. And which gets a whole lot of nothing done. No one's, it's not moving the needle forward in the correct way. And so it just.
Well, I'll tell you, okay, so we talk about like, how does this affect our kids? Why don't we let Planned Parenthood teach sex ed in the schools? Well, I'll tell you why. 1 in 3 women have had an abortion, right? That's a statistic. Well, I'm raising 3 girls. And so my job is not to teach them abortion's bad and evil and don't do it. It's to teach them, if they get in a bind, they can come to me and it will support them. And if we don't teach them that, if we don't do that, guess what? Planned Parenthood's in our school teaching them, if you get in a bind, you can come to me and I'll take care of it. I'll take your $600 and take care of that problem for you. And like, oh, by the way, come back for birth control that you're going to use incorrectly, because what is it, 51% of women who have abortions were using birth control. Like, they know what they're doing. And people are like, oh, no, it's not that insidious. It's not this horrible, evil thing. They're really doing wonderful things for women. It's like, no, they're not. They're taking a loss on all these other things so they can sell abortions. And that's what they're doing. So as parents, we got to be with these school boards. We got to be in front of them and be like, I don't want this for my kids. Like, I'm sorry if this parent doesn't want to teach their kids sex ed, if they're prudes or they're too lazy or whatever their problem is, they don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it for my kids in my school or in my home. And that's my job. In school, they should be learning biology. They should, like, boys and girls should understand how the menstrual cycle works, right?
Right.
You know, because we all share in this fertility game together. There's always two people involved, one boy, one girl.
Right.
Single time. And so why wouldn't we want boys and girls to understand biology and how that works? And
Right.
And then we're saying, oh, well, you got to take birth control. They should know how every single form of birth control works. In my opinion, my basic observation, birth control is a crapshoot. It's a gamble no matter what. You're gambling with your fertility, your health. You could die of a blood clot, all these other things, and you still can get pregnant. And then what? You've already had this mindset that I don't want this baby, so where are you going to go? Again, back to Planned Parenthood for an abortion. So it all just leads down this one road. So again, I'm saying, like, you're talking about people, well, it's no big deal. What's that got to do with our kids? It has everything to do with our kids. Everything to do with our kids. This is the world they're going to grow up in.
Yeah.
And not just that. The kids that are still in public school learning these things, my kids have to go to work with them, go to college with them, and try to convince them. And they got to undo that brainwashing they went through. And hopefully not get brainwashed themselves in the process. You know what I mean? Because eventually you got to let them go. You can't wrap them up in bubble wrap and stick them in the basement.
Right. Right. It's
you got to parent out in the world. So, yeah.
No, I love that. And, you know, I think that's, as we wrap, that's a perfect way to end, because we have, you know, and I've had these conversations with my older children. I'm like, not if you mess up, but when you mess up, I need you to come to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have these like expectations. Like, sometimes it's good to set expectations for your children. It's good to set the bar high, but they're humans too. Like, they are going to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, like, so my oldest daughter, she's like, well, why do you think I'm going to mess up? Like, why do you think I'm going to make these mistakes? And I said, honey, because you're human. I'm not telling you this is a free pass to go do this or go do that. I'm not encouraging any of that, but I'm saying you're human. You're going to find yourself in situations like, oh my gosh, why am I here at this party? And my mom told me not to come. Mm-hmm. So now, you know what I mean? I'm like, so when you're there, I don't want you to think, oh, I need to get a ride home with someone who's been drinking so my mom doesn't find it. No, I don't care if it's 2 a.m. and you're where I told you not to go. You call me. I will come get you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're going to deal with these things. Oh, and you know what was so fascinating that I found out from Abby, that I didn't realize this, and it took me a second to process it, especially Christian families. Abby had told me, and I'm not going to say the number, there's Fulton, that the abortion rate is so much, like, she told the number astounded me of how many Christian women got abortions. And I'm like, how does that make sense that it's so much higher? She's like, those are the easiest ones to guilt.
They would ask for prayer. They would have their rosary in their hand. I mean, like,
yes. And that's like, and then it made so much sense to me. Because even as a devout Catholic woman myself, when I have sinned and when I have fallen short, I carry such shame and such guilt because I don't want to be letting God. And it's like, so there's that fine line where we have to tell our kids, like, no, we'll get through it together.
I'm not gonna shield you from the consequences. Like, I'm gonna hug you, I'm gonna kiss you, I'm gonna tell you I love you. And tomorrow I'm gonna scream. No, I'm just kidding.
Right, but there's the point.
I'm gonna make sure you understand that you are loved, and we're gonna get through this together. But that doesn't mean you're not gonna get a talking to.
Right.
I'm gonna stop the cops from coming, or like if you got yourself in a big bind, Jeffrey Dahmer, horrible, like, as far as we're concerned, evil personified, right? Serial killer, everything he did. You know how many interviews he had with his dad present with him? And that spoke volumes to me, that his dad still was like, this is my son. Yeah, I know he did this evil thing, but even he, as a parent, took responsibility that he raised this monster, right? And he was always there with him. I feel like that's a good example of a father's love, being like, I know what he did, and I should be ashamed, and I should leave him, denounce him. But who else would he have? Like, no, he's in prison. He's suffering the consequences of his actions. All his other people are suffering too, but he's still my son. And I think that says a lot. And that's an extreme example.
But no, it's true. It needed, yes, I like that you showed that extreme.
Yeah. And so we just got to be there. Like, yeah, like you said, you need to ride home from a party, you call me. Do not get in a car with a drunk ding dong and like get yourself hurt. In fact, if he needs a ride, I'll take him to his dad.
Right.
You know, I'll come get all of you. I'll bring a bus and I'll take all you goofballs home. And y'all owe me money tomorrow.
Right. You're going to be cleaning the garage tomorrow.
Y'all going to come paint my house after I come.
Right. But it's good. But like kids need to know that, that when you mess up, mom and dad are the ones that you come to. We are the ones that are going to get you through it. We're going to help you problem solve. You're going to have your consequences, but we are your safety nets.
Right.
And so I think those and again, those conversations shouldn't wait to happen when like a big catastrophe has already occurred. Those need to happen when things are going good.
Yeah.
You know? And so I love that you brought that up, because that's a great reminder. Fulton, you're just too cute.
Yeah, he knows.
He knows it.
He knows he's entertaining.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Well, this was so much fun, Doug. We've got to do it again.
Are we doing it next week? Because Abby's going to be out of town. Whatever you got me anytime you want me.
I love it. So you guys have to check out Doug's page, Doug on Tap. He tells it like it is. If you love Abby, you're going to love Doug.
We are experts at snark.
It bold and brave and just bold, brave, blunt.
Yeah. And we don't apologize. We're fine. If you don't like what we have to say, just be nice and tell us, and then we can talk about it. You know? I don't mind being challenged. It's fine.
Yes. I love it. All right, buddy. This was so much fun. Maybe next week.
Okay, we'll see how it goes.